question.
Sir.
You gave a few examples. Ratan Tata, 75% of his. Thank you. You gave a few examples. Ratan Tata, 75% of his wealth is given to charity. Manu Chan Arya, you said he still has only 5 suits, even though he's one of the richest people in the world. And you gave a few other examples. Warren Buffett, he still lives in a 3-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Question is, does Warren Buffett live a simple life? Can we say that he lives by simplicity? He is still earning billions and billions of dollars.
Yes.
So how do we describe the lifestyle of a person just because he drives an old car, lives in an old apartment? Does it make him pursuing a simple life, but he is still running after billions of dollars?
Yeah, that's true. And that's why I said we are not talking here of renunciation of anything. We are only talking of detachment from the wealth they have. Making wealth itself is not bad. If making wealth was bad, all of us who have come from India, migrated from here because we wanted a better life, should not have done. We come here because we want to earn wealth. How do we use that wealth for betterment for ourselves, for our extended families, and for the community, for the society, is what will make our life better. Simplicity doesn't mean that you have to just have one dress and you just wash it every day and wear it. It doesn't. That can never be simplicity. Simplicity is not to show off, not to put anybody down because they are poorer than you, not to waste things. Now, since we have opened the question, let me say some of the things that rich people do are sheer waste or obscene waste of money. Just to give an example of the wedding of Jeff Bezos and also Ambani family. To me, it is a sheer waste of money, obscene waste of money. That money can be used for bettering the life of so many people. That is not simplicity. That is glorifying your wealth. That is showing off your wealth. So if they want to have a simple life, nothing wrong in making money. I think they should make money. We all make money. We cannot. I mean, I'll be foolish to say that if my client comes to me and say, okay, I'm going to pay $3,000. I say, no, only give me $200. No, I'll be fine. I'll take that $3,000. But how do I use that $3,000 is what is important. When I said Manu Chandaria has only 5 suits is because he's not attached to the material. He's fine with those 5 suits. Because all is the money that he makes. He also runs a trust in every single country that he operates. So a bulk of his money goes into charities. So how he is making money and how he is using that money is what makes his life simplicity. Because that's where he gets the joy of contentment with the value of helping others. The concept of community is very strong in Canada, but the concept of extended family is very rich in both Asian and African communities. We have extended family, like if somebody comes from our village, he's not just a villager, but he's a brother and a sister and uncle and an aunt and others. So anybody can rely on anybody. It's differently done in Canada because we have community organizations that they do this fantastic way of doing it. Ours is more value-based in terms of relations. Here is based more on the value of community work. So how do we use that wealth is what will make our lives. So there's no way to tell that you don't make money. Now, does Warren Buffett, that name didn't come to my mind that time. Does Warren Buffett donate or does charity? Absolutely, he does charity. Does he do charity for his own people? No. I was just reading a few years back, he gave money for his granddaughter education. And then his granddaughter one day wrote in a newspaper that I cannot pay my car cost and blah, 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 some of the expenses. So he wrote to her a very nice letter, that I paid for your education, which I thought was my responsibility. Everything else after that is your choice of whether you want to spend money or you don't want to spend money, therefore you earn money. So he was trying to make her independent. And that's the right way of doing it. Like you don't make somebody dependent on you for their living. So to answer your question again, making money is not bad. It's how you use the money is what is important. And I think a lot of people I know here make money and do the right thing. And that's why I'm saying living with good people, having the company of good people, inspiring people like you yourself is very important. Just say, in our community we have this saying, "Sangat ka asar hota hai." It's your acquaintances, the people you live with makes a difference in your life, and that's very, very true in every aspect.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Please.
I'll be very glad to have conversation because I didn't want to.
Anybody? Speak into the mic.
A homeless person has nothing. Is that what we mean by living simply? He has no worries, perhaps. I don't know. I've not been a homeless person. But I don't know.
Can't hear you, sir.
Speak into the mic. Yeah, in front. Keep the mic in front of you.
Is a homeless person living a simple life?
A homeless person is living life or destitute. It's not a simple life. A simple life is in my opinion, I could be wrong. Everybody has an interpretation. Anything that is subject to interpretation can have different meaning. It's a simple life. We are talking about a person who works hard, who works, makes money, but lives with contentment. Homeless person, in many respects, becomes a liability to the community. So what we need to do is to teach them, or to inspire them, or to make them do the right thing, or be part of the active workforce, and then they can definitely transform themselves.
I'm just wondering if we were to teach our children that everything belongs to them. Everything in this universe belongs to you. Just take care of it. Is that what we can aspire for, to live a simple life?
Absolutely, that can also inspire, because by doing that one, my first quotation at the beginning was, we have not borrowed this universe from our ancestors, but borrowed it from our future generation. It has to go hand in hand. If we tell the youngsters that this universe is yours, take care of it, and tell them why they should take care of it, because they are not the only people who are dependent on this universe, but there are other people, and they have responsibility to the other people. I'm sure that they will be inspired to live a very simple life.
Anyone else?
I have a question.
Please speak into the mic. It doesn't work like this.
So ask any questions you can. I have a battalion of people who have come to collect me from here because I may be boring one of you.
But we won't let you go.
I don't know, is it working? Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, so a lot of this conversation rightly is about material possession, and I know you're drawing a distinction between renunciation and simplicity. The concept of simplicity for me, I'm thinking about all the relationships I have in life. That's where the complication of my life is in the relationships with my family, with my friends, with a lot of complication in life, which is the opposite of simplicity, is in how we conduct ourselves with our, I wonder if you want to talk about that at all.
Yes, I will, and I know that people will contradict me here. Nirmalaji said very rightly that if you detach yourself from expectations from anybody that you deal with, you'll be free of any grief. Human relationship is the most complicated part of anybody's life. But that is something also we cannot run away from. But giving that space, that detachment, and I gave you my own example with my son and daughter, that giving space and accepting that they have an opinion and they have a thought will keep us happy. There is no over-the-counter drug that I can prescribe you for that one. It's an experience, it's a work that you have to do we all have to do. I do, you do. Gandhiji did with his own wife, with his own son. He had trouble when his eldest son converted himself to Islam. He had problems, but Gandhiji was Gandhiji. We can aim to become Gandhi. And that's a journey that we have to take. That we have to improve ourselves, we have to balance ourselves, we have to keep on thinking. It's not very easy. There's no OTC drug on that. It's a hard work. Same the way you do, I'll be doing the same thing. Same, Anilji might have done it already. Professor Humar might have already dealt with that in life. But there's another philosophy of Jain religion, which is control over the 5 jinas, 5 indriyas. That is so important. If you can do that one, I'm sure that you can be relieved of pain.
सुन पा रहे हैं आप लोग? आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
हाँ
जी। बस सवाल नहीं है मेरा। हाँ, मेरा सवाल नहीं है, बस एक विचार है मन में कि जो हम सिंप्लिसिटी की और निर्लिप्त होने की बात करते हैं, तो शायद राजा जनक एक बहुत बड़ा अच्छा उदाहरण हमारे सामने है कि सब कुछ होते हुए भी हर चीज़ से निर्लिप्त रहना और इतना बड़ा राजकाज होने के बावजूद भी बहुत सिंपल रहना। तो शायद ऐसे महानुभावों से हम ज़्यादा अच्छा समझ सकते हैं, और ऋषि मुनियों से जो बहुत पावरफुल थे लेकिन फिर भी बहुत सिंपल।
Can you translate her for everybody?
What he is saying, he gave an example of a king called Raja Janak or King Janak, who was father of Sita, the wife of Lord Ram. He was very powerful, but he was detached from his wealth. He led a very simple life even as a king, and that's what he is saying also inspires us, living a very simple life and simplicity. But Sunita ji, I mean, I fully agree with what you are saying. सहमत हूँ मैं आपके बात से. But हमें उतने दूर जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं. We are living in a society where we have people who are living examples who can inspire us to do what we want to do, or inspire us to live a very simple life. We can learn from them how the perseverance can drive you to be a better person, how you can live a life of detachment or simplicity, what we call, and be happy about it. So it's good that we have those historical books, historical figures to rely on, but we also have living examples that we can actually live at that. So I gave you some of the examples, and we don't need to go far and beyond to inspire ourselves. And if you keep talking to one another, like, I think this is a good forum. Really, you are doing a wonderful thing, like bringing people together to have a conversation. Not just a prescription, but a conversation, because I have learned different angles from everybody who has spoken today. And as I said, they are all intellectuals. I have known many of you in a different capacity, so I get inspired, always get inspired by you people. And I learned a little more today. Thank you.
Can you please share your thoughts on how Gandhiji embraced simplicity?
How Gandhiji embraced simplicity? Oh, he was. There's n number of examples Gandhiji gives. A dhoti-clad man who once wore suits, studied in England, was a son of a darbari of a princely estate. He had nothing to lose. He had every single thing. Kasturba Gandhi gave away every single ornament for the freedom fight of India. He detached himself from them. For him, it was the human lives, it was the freedom of India, it was the well-being of the population that was important to him. Otherwise, he was a very accomplished. I mean, initially he failed as a barrister until he went to South Africa. So my other connection with Gandhi is also that he got inspired in Africa, and I come from Africa. So those are my connections. I get inspired. I try to connect all dots with different people, and always find a connection. So Gandhiji was an epitome of definitely simplicity. You see every action of his. Right from the time when in the high school or in the middle school, when he had the opportunity to copy a spelling to prove that he also remembered the spelling of a word, he decided not to do that. He was simple. He said, I can only spell these 4 words. My 5th is incorrect. I'm not going to cheat. He went to England. Of course, in England, he was influenced too much by the British or the English way of living. He wanted to become an Englishman. He wanted to behave like Englishman. And then his realization came, no, I am not headed to that one. He went to South Africa. He came to Mumbai, started his practice as a lawyer. Was not able to do well simply because he was not able to tell lies. He was not able to fabricate the stories in his plaints and pleadings in the court. So he was not very successful. So when he was called to South Africa in Durban by the Bora Mountain family to mediate, to arbitrate in a trade dispute, that's where he got inspired. That's where he became sensible, because there everything was based on truth. And if he had not taken the train from Durban to Pretoria and booked himself in first class, and thrown out of that one because he was saying that this is not made for Indians, it's only the whites who go into that one. If that thing had not happened with him, probably he would not have transferred himself. So he went through a process of transformation. So we all can go through that process of transformation. I'm sure Dr. Umar will remember the story of Angulimal Thakur, right? Who would be a highway robber and would cut people's finger whenever he stole from them. And then one day his enlightenment, and he became a saint. So people go through that transformation. The Mahasi Valmiki, who wrote Ramayana, original Ramayana, he was not a saint from beginning. He was a highway robber. He transferred, he had enlightenment, and he became a priest, a saint, and he wrote the greatest epic of the world, Ramayana. So, if today, and that's what we do, that's what in this western part of the world, in India still we call it jail and police stations. Here we call rehabilitation centers. But we have a story of people who have already rehabilitated themselves, if you go by the history. So why cannot we do it today? So Gandhiji, in my opinion, was a true epitome of simplicity. I have a lot of respect for him, not because he was always right. Politically, I can disagree with him on many things, but his truthfulness and his ability to accept his mistakes is what inspires me.
I just want to read you some thoughts that I wrote to myself. It's almost a prayer. It says, "Release me, O Lord, from these chains of desire. Free me from these wants that numbs my sense of reason. Give me the strength, O Lord, to bear my losses, that I may learn never to despair in darkness. Shine a light in the depths of my darkness and show me the path that I may learn to walk alone. Give me the wisdom, O Lord, to seek the truth, and help me through this maze that I may merge with the universe."
Beautiful. You cannot put a better word to your thoughts.
Pardon? She is praying to the God.
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful word, and that's the real detachment you're talking about, and assimilation of the soul into the ultimate soul. And beautiful, I appreciate you sharing that one. In fact, Anilji, you should get a copy of that, and probably I'll attach it or make it a part of my thing. I'll give you the credit for that one, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, Ramula.
Thank you. Thank you for the interesting discussions and for all the sharings and perspectives on this topic of simplicity. I'm Ramola, and as you know, it was the indigenous elder William Commander who really introduced me to Gandhi, even though he's also part of my family. And I know along the way he was writing to Tolstoy, who was living a simple life and trying to figure out what life was like in this farmhouse of his. And Mahatma Gandhi was communicating with him on this topic. And Tolstoy was reflecting on the writings of an American, David Thoreau, who wrote Walden Pond and things like that. And along the way, I realized that David Thoreau had gotten his wisdom about Walden Pond, and that book of poetry was about connecting with nature. And he had learned the importance of connecting with nature in finding the true pathway to a simple life from his guide, his Penobscot guide. So I say the actual wisdom came from the indigenous people and from William's ancestors. And an important reminder, I think, for many of us who are part of this circle over here today, who come from other places. I've just discovered somebody else who's come from South Africa like me. How do we find our place on this land? And I guess Elder Commander said we must find our way, our pathway into nature. And that will teach us the simple connection with the Mother Earth and then with each other. And so that's been like a profound teaching that I think Gandhi was very much himself interested in finding. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll look at a piece of information that Madam Ramola has shared with us. This is the kind of a conversation that we want to have, because everybody has something to share. Beautiful. Thank you so much for enlightening us on that. Yeah.
Any other questions, any comments, Dr. Jagmohan Umar?
It will be a difficult question for me.
Thank you. It was a very, very good explanation of what the simple living is, and it's really, really very inspiring. But Aparigraha is not just moralistic living or altruistic living. You have to look at the future of our society, our children. And that's what we fail to do it. Because, for example, at the rate at which our desires have 3% growth every year in our GDP or in our production, very soon, in about few years, you will run out of resources because the present population of the world is about 7 billion. In 50 years, it will be 10 billion, let's say. We don't have enough for those 10 billion people by the time we go there. That's number one. To make this production of the things that we need today, we need energy. And the energy is growing at the rate of 4% per year. And it is impacting our climate, as you can see, all over the world today. So our future generations, we are not worried about them. We are not taking care of that. The simple living is good for us. It's good for our health. It's good for, we don't have ego, we don't have deceit. But it's more than that.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely, if you're craving for demand for greater and greater wealth, greater consumption continues, will put our future generation under jeopardy. And that we fail to do. So that's another important aspect. The Aparigraha covers both of them. And Gandhi was very stressful about not taking from nature more than you need.
True.
Because that leads to all of the problems that we are having today.
I fully concur with you, and that's why my first quotation was, we have not inherited from our ancestors, but we have borrowed it from our future generation.
Absolutely.
And just before I came, I was reading an article that we take 1.4 times of the Earth's resources every year. That means we don't have enough Earth to take resources from. So it's a challenge, and I agree with you. And that's why I said we cannot cover everything in just one session.
Yeah,
and as this will be part of the continuity of the next session, I'll definitely, that is another angle that I have to cover on that. So,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Anyone else? If not, I think we will finish with a vote of thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, friends. What a thoughtful and inspiring afternoon this has been. On behalf of the Mahatma Gandhi Peace Council of Ottawa, I extend our heartfelt thanks to everyone who joined us today for this session on simplicity in a material world, the joy of non-possession. Thank you for participating actively in asking questions. To our distinguished speaker, Mr. Kameshwar Mishra, thank you for your deeply reflective and engaging talk. You helped us look within and question the patterns of access and attachment that often shape our lives. Your insights reminded us that simplicity is not about deprivation, but about discovering joy in contentment, balance, and gratitude. Your thoughts on Aparigraha have certainly given us much to reflect upon as we go back to our daily lives. And as Dr. Jagmohan pointed out, that Aparigraha is much more than simply being satisfied with what we have, but thinking about the future, about our grandchildren, about next generations. Let us continue to carry forward Gandhiji's message to live simply, act compassionately, and serve selflessly. May we all find strength and peace in small acts of simplicity and kindness. To our guests and participants, thank you for being here, for your attention, and for the thoughtful engagement. It is your presence and curiosity that make these gatherings meaningful. To our board members and volunteers, my sincere appreciation for your continuing commitment, planning, and coordination that make every event flow so smoothly. A special thank you as well to our trustees, sponsors, patrons, and annual members for their steadfast support. Your generosity means this platform of learning and community dialogue flourishes. A special word of appreciation to the Minto Recreation Complex, the staff for their assistance, and for those behind the scenes handling logistics, sound, and refreshments. Thank you for your quiet but essential contribution. Before we part, I invite everyone to stay connected with us. Visit our website gandhiji.ca to explore our newsletters, upcoming talks, and community dialogues. And if you believe in our mission, please consider becoming a member or supporter of the Mahatma Gandhi Peace Council of Ottawa. Your involvement will help keep Gandhiji's values alive in our community. We invite you all to join at our next event, Community Leadership Leading with Gandhi's Values by Punita Patel, on Saturday the 12th of December at 3 p.m. in the same room. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon. May we continue to be guided by truth, peace, and compassion in our thoughts and actions. Have a wonderful evening. See you next month. In the meantime, please join us for some refreshments and networking.